Happy Mother's Day to you all. Today I'm going to talk about how do you celebrate Mother's Day without your mom. So as some of you may know, I've lost my mom back in 2008. So every Mother's Day is very touchy and sometimes really painful, which is why I have a box of tissue with me. So excuse me if I do get a little bit emotional, because a lot of you are very lucky today to be able to celebrate this wonderful day with your mum, have loads of pictures and wonderful reminders of what this lady has done for you. But I guess for some of us who don't have that, it's quite hard and painful. We're 10 years apart, and I remember in 10 years I actually thought to myself, I'll never be able to see my mum again. With this war that's taking place in the Congo, I'll never be able to introduce her to maybe my husband or my children, and I'll never be able to just share certain moments that I really wanted to share with her. I remember this one time my mom had been trying to come and visit me in the UK. She was living in the Congo, which is why I never got to see her. We talk on the phone all the time, but I never got to see her. So she'd been trying to come to the UK several times, and sometimes she'll get the visa and then she won't have enough money to get the ticket, or sometimes she has the ticket and the visa expires. So it's a whole combination of things. But one day she decided to do this crazy miraculous thing, this crazy thing that turned into a miraculous event. She took her suitcase and went to one suitcase and went to the airport. And when she got to the airport, she had a 3 weeks visa to the UK, and she was short of $100, about $100 or something, to buy her flight tickets. So she gets to the airport, and she's walking around and she's thinking, I must be crazy, I'll never get to see my child again, my daughter who lives in the UK. And she just feels like she's losing her mind. And this young man comes up to her and says, Mama Josephine, why are you so sad? You're walking around with a suitcase. And she explains to this young man who knows her, who works, for the embassy or at the airport, and she says, I've been trying to go and see my daughter for such a very long time, but every time I try, there's always something in the way. It's like God or fate doesn't allow me to go and visit her, and I really starting to think that I'll never see my child again. And he says to her, so what's wrong? I mean, what do you need? And she says, well, I'm short of $100, and I've been trying to sell all my my business stuff for a long time, and I can't seem to get that $100. So he takes her into her office and says, okay, Mama Josephine, don't cry. I know this is really painful and you've been trying for a long time, but here you go. So he gives her $100. And it was weird because that same day she gets on the plane, and that same day, it was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I was coming out of work, and someone says to me, I get a call from Congo, and a good friend of my mom calls me and says, Matty, what time do you finish work? And I said, well, I'm almost finished work. And she says, well, can you get to Heathrow Airport for 8 p.m? And I said, well, why? I don't know. I mean, why would I need to do that? She says, well, your mom's going to be arriving at Heathrow Airport at 8 p.m. and she would need someone to be there for her. So I thought, I said to this lady, please don't joke with me. It's not funny. I haven't seen my mum in 10 years. We've been separated because of what's going on in the war in the Congo. And you're telling me my mum's going to be on the plane in literally like a few hours. She says, yes. So I'm speechless by now. And so I put the phone down and I say, okay. And I scream like, ah! And at that moment, it's just like, I was thinking about her so much. And sometimes you think, maybe if you think of someone a lot, something will happen, and it's kind of how it felt. So my mom got on the plane. Long story short, she came to England in 2005. That's the last time I saw her. And we spent 3 weeks together, and it was amazing. It was probably the last time I ever saw her again, because the last time I maybe held her hand and she hugged me, and she even tried to dunk me into the bathroom, you know. And it was a really emotional moment. So that's what I remember from my mom. It's a really good moment that I like to remember, because that is pretty much the moment I want to remember from my mom. So some of you today are experiencing your first or second or fourth or ever Mother's Day without a mom. And I just want to say to you that there are people lucky enough that have been moms in my life. So I want to show you a picture of those people. And here they are. Those people are my aunties, my friends. And when I say friends, they're older ladies who've been like mentors and examples to me, and just kind of kept me going. And even though I hadn't seen my mom for like 10 years, and I actually thought that I felt very abandoned and alone, and even to the fact that you know, it's just not going to happen for me. But these ladies, these women, I have to say thank you to, because they have added and they have filled a hole in the place where my mom wasn't physically there. And some of you may feel like, well, I don't have a mom, and I do have a mom physically, she's alive, but maybe she doesn't love me, she doesn't care, and she's not there for me, or she's very abusive and we can't communicate, we can't get along. So I kind of just want to say that you have to acknowledge all these women and wonderful people, sisters, cousins, that are there for you, and that are kind of like your surrogate mothers and your substitutes, because maybe you won't be as lucky as everyone else to have your mom with you, but you'll be lucky enough to have these wonderful girls, these wonderful ladies with you to actually assist you. So I just want to wish you guys all a wonderful and happy Mother's Day, because if you don't have a mom, or if you do have a physical mom and she's never there for you, just remember one thing: there are women out there all over, all ready for you to receive them as a mom and just embrace them in your life. So from me, Matty, that girl from What the Job Is This, happy Mother's Day to you all.